What's up, guys? It's your boy Michael, and I'm back for part 2. This is the same game. I literally just finished my last one. I just want to add on to what I said in part 1. I feel like I wasn't quite able to get a lot of my points across completely because of time restraints. So I just kind of want to get across my last little bit a little bit better. And there was one more thing that I wanted. There were a couple more things I wanted to talk about, a certain couple of modes. Okay, first off, okay. The communities. There's a bunch of different communities on 2K, okay? Now we gotta talk about this because I feel like, like the My Park community used to get all the attention. It was like, oh my god, My Park, like, you guys need, like, extra parks and, you know, certain things removed from the game to make your experience better. Okay, sure, like, we're gonna accommodate you. And for the longest time, it was My Career. If the My Career people had an issue, we wanted more of a storyline. You gave us cutscenes. You made a Spike Lee directed storyline. You made it basically a movie. Okay. But you know, I have ups and downs about that, and I'm gonna use this video to kind of talk about My Career more than anything, because My Career has always been a big part of my 2K experience. I always do one, even if I don't play it as much as other things. I've always made it a big part of my 2K experience. So all I'm saying is that different communities don't get the same attention as, say, you know, like the My Team community. The My Team community gets so much attention. You see guys like Cash Nasty get on Twitter and just say basically whatever they want, and they get an instant response, and they're starting to change the game because of them, and they're starting to take all their advice to how they should change the game. And listen, I love Cash Nasty, I'm a fan, I watch the stream all the time, but something's got to be done about that. You can't just listen to one community and expect everybody else to be happy and completely ignore them and what they want. Anyway, let's get on to the next one, right? Hold on. Okay. Dragic. Pull up. No, never mind. Anyway, let's get into the My Career thing. Remember, this is all off the top. I feel like the two best My Career experiences in 2K. Okay, I feel like, well, the top three probably. I feel like 2K14 on the next gen was a very good My Career experience. I feel like, you know, the adding of the cutscenes was dope. Yes, they're corny. They've been corny, and it makes me cringe every time I see these cutscenes. Like, I really don't want to. I just feel like they're so damn corny. I realize you have to make them corny, because if you don't, you try to make them realistic, you'd probably get sued or something. I understand, but God, they're just so cringy. I don't like, they're just so damn cringy, dude. They're so bad sometimes. I'm just like, dude, come on now. Now, I will say, the shit this year almost had me crying, bro. That shit at the end, like, why is 2K making me, listen, I appreciate that you wanted to put a story in there and everything, and you wanted to make it heartfelt. But why the hell am I crying playing a basketball game? Listen, I'd much rather take the corny shit than be crying over a basketball game. Listen, bruh, I understand this shit happens, and I love the emotions. I'm always a big emotional guy when it comes to my games. If this shit moves my emotions, I like it. But this shit's a sports game, bruh. Like, I don't want it extra corny, but I don't want it necessarily so over-emotional. But you know what it is, man? In all honesty, I'd rather have it over-emotional than corny. And the only reason I say this, normally I'd rather have it corny than over-emotional, because when it's over-emotional, it sticks with you. When it's corny, you just forget about it after 5 seconds. Also, rest in peace, Basquiat's, by the way. I just had to throw that out there. But here's my thing, man. I don't know exactly, like, how to put this, but like when it's heartfelt, like, the scene is better at the moment than when it's corny. But it's bad in hindsight, especially for someone like me who makes multiple my careers. I don't just make one, I make like 2 or 3, I tend to make like 1 or 2, maybe 3. This year I only made 1, but sometimes I'll make 2. I'll make like a power forward and a point guard every year. And I just have an issue because yes, it's cool and all, the heart-wrenching stuff the first time. It's not fun the second time through. It's not nearly as good the second time through. It's almost always worse the second time through, okay? And the corny stuff, I could deal with that a second time through because I had like 3 different my careers on 2K14, and even though it was beyond corny, like it was just like I want to drink bleach corny. It was so corny and terrible. But I didn't mind watching it again because it didn't necessarily play with your emotions. You didn't feel attached to the scene. You felt like, okay, this is just some stupid ass cutscene and it's over in 5 minutes, and then I never have to worry about it again. But in this one, it's like you have to be like involved in it. Like you almost feel like you're there, which is cool to a point, but at the same time it's just like, damn, like I don't want to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, this is a basketball game. It's difficult for me to explain, but I think y'all can kind of understand what I mean by it. Okay, now let's move on. Right? Get off of all that. Let's move on to the next thing that we got, okay? I want to talk, so that was the number 3 greatest my career experience that I've ever had. Number 2 was 2K11. Now, personally, 2K11 is my favorite 2K out of all of them. I feel like they've never made anyone better than that. Hopefully 2K17 proves me wrong. Hopefully this shit's really good, but until then, man, 2K11 was my shit, okay? And my career was dope. This was like right before they got rid of the agent and everything, like the agent that popped in the corner. That dude was dope, man. I really liked that my career because it wasn't too crazy, but it wasn't too simple. Like there was an agent, you had key games against star people, you kind of set everything up. It was more for the sports fan and less for the casual follower. I feel like these games now are made more with the casual follower in mind. These moves are not in... Hold on, I'm about to steal... Oh, damn it. Jumped it, but not quick enough. I was about to steal that. These moves to these different things they're doing now are more for the casual fan. More for someone who wants to feel a storyline behind it. Not necessarily someone who's just here to play the game and enjoy it. But... like I was saying, I mean, sometimes a storyline adds a little bit more to it, and I do kind of appreciate that. And I'm mainly going to be talking about my career in this video, so don't get it twisted if you think that I forgot about you. I don't play my park. Listen, I know that I stood up for the my park community and said that they need to be heard, but listen, if 2K happens to get their hands on this video, they're hearing from the My Career community right now. They're not hearing from the My Park community. They should go to a My Park community video. Someone in the My Park community should make a video and say, hey, 2K, this is what we should do, because I don't know what you guys are all, up in arms about. I'm not in that community. I don't know. So, moving on, this I always felt was a big issue. Like, was that 2K13, in my opinion, was the best experience I've ever had with the 2K ever, to be honest. And it wasn't, and, it was, if it wasn't for how 2K11 changed my life, and I have a story behind that, I don't necessarily want to tell it, but 2K11 changed my life forever. I picked the game up. I used to hate sports. I used to think sports were the wackiest thing ever at one point in my life. And I saw that commercial with Snoop Dogg had that theme song for 2K11, and I saw that commercial and I said, I want to get that game. Basketball looks cool. I went and got that game. I played it and I never looked back. I have been in love with sports ever since I played that game. Okay. Mind you, I'm 17, almost 18, so I was like 11, 12 when that game came out. So, I mean, this was a while ago, but it wasn't all that long ago. But for me, like, that was a big moment in my life, obviously, because, you know, I was a little bit younger, I was a little more impressionable, and I became a big fan of the game of basketball, and it became my #1 sport. So, with all that being said, I move on to something else. Okay. 2K13 was the best experience I've had as far as the colors, the look of it, the designs, the music. The soundtrack was definitely the greatest. 2K11 is close, but 2K13 definitely has the best soundtrack of any game. Now, personally, I don't really listen to the soundtrack. I used to, but then I started, you know, doing more of the YouTube video thing. Whether on my personal channel or on my old channel with my friend Justin on JMZ Gaming. I didn't... I had to start turning off the music, and so the soundtracks are turned off on most of my games. So I don't quite experience the same thing anymore. I don't quite have the same experience. And the reason that I turned them off is because I actually had one on that JMZ Gaming channel that got flagged and taken down. I got copyright striked for a song that was in the soundtrack. So I actually ended up turning off all the soundtracks on my games, and I quit listening to it. But before I started really recording this gameplay, I did actually have the soundtrack on. And I will say the soundtrack is alright. It's decent. But, like, I don't know what DJ Khaled and all them dudes were thinking. Like, there's just some songs on here that I'm like, you guys could have done better. Why'd you pick this song? There's a couple songs that were in former ones, like Little by Little was in 2K11. But again, I like Little by Little, so I have no issue with it being in here. There's just a lot of things on the soundtrack that I'm kind of like, whatever. Anyway, back to the My Career thing. Something else that needs to be brought back. And I apologize if I'm like going off on tangents and forgetting to mention stuff, because again, this is all off top of the dome. Back in 2K13, up until 2K15, we were able to upgrade everything on its own. Everything. Everything was done on its own. You know, with its... You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, everything was done on its own. Okay, like, you could upgrade your ball handling. You could upgrade your ball control. You could upgrade your shot IQ. You could upgrade your basketball IQ. You could upgrade everything: mental, physical, emotional. You could upgrade all these things, and you no longer can do that. It's all bundled into a category, and I never liked this. Some people ended up liking it. I haven't really seen anybody that's truly been like, oh hell yeah, I got my fucking categories, that's the greatest thing to ever happen. I've never met anybody who said that. So maybe somebody did, but in my opinion, it's whack. We need to go back to the old way of doing it. With that being said, here's where it gets interesting. Skill points or VC? Now, I personally like VC because I can jump in a blacktop game and I can grab me a quick, I don't even know how much it is now, but it used to be 250. We used to use that thing in 2K13. We used to jump onto the blacktop and get us a quick 250 VC easy. And then we could spend it in My Career, right? We spend it on like some accessories. Well, now, I mean, that's cool and all, and you can still do that, but, like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I miss those days where it was a little bit simpler. There wasn't as much going on. I don't quite know. I kind of like the skill points, though. Like, I miss the skill points, but then again, I don't. I almost felt like the VC was harder to get than it was to, like, like, something could be worth 1,000 VC, and you're only getting like 300 VC a game. Where back in the skill points times, you'd get 700 skill points in a game, and something would be worth 1,200. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you could play 2 games, and you could upgrade that shit by 1. If we're going by the other system, you'd have to play, like, 4 or 5 games before you can even upgrade anything by 1, but with the VC. So, I feel like there's ups and downs to VC, because, yes, you can acquire VC in so many different ways, and it becomes simple, but the skill points came in bunches. So, I mean, it kind of comes down to, I mean, maybe if VC came in bigger bunches, you know, like if we were able to, instead of get 250 VC for a blacktop game, we got 500 VC or something like that. Something that was just more usable and more durable, I guess you could say, you know, than just like 200 VC. Because I don't feel like 200 VC really helps too much as 500 does. And I don't think, you know, 300 skill point, or, you know, 300 VC helps as much as, you know, 750 skill points. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. Whether they should... You know, I saw somebody's video. I remember, I think it was iPod King Carter, but he was talking about, why don't we have a separate My Career, like a separate player, one that uses online VC, and then the offline My Career. And in my opinion, I love the offline My Career. I think that's a great idea. The offline My Career sounds interesting. Going back to skill points, getting the old upgrading system, just having it kind of throwback. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, of course, I've talked about cutscenes. Honestly, I want less cutscenes. Can I just talk about this? I want less cutscenes. I don't want 1,000,000 cutscenes. That's kind of annoying. Like, I don't want like 2 hours worth of cutscenes. It gets annoying. And yeah, sure, you can skip, but like, you miss parts of the story, and then all of a sudden you're lost, and it's just not as fun. But I also don't want, like, back in 2K, because you'll see in 2K17, you'll be dropping like 5 points a game, and they're sitting here calling you the next NBA superstar. And it's like, ain't nobody trying to say that. You averaging 5 points a game, you know they're roasting you on Twitter. Like, ain't nobody trying to say that you're a superstar. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like in 2K14, there would be scripted games where you would, like, on purpose, you would miss free throws. And it'd just be so it could take you to some cutscene where you worked on your free throws in the gym. Like, after the game with your veteran guy. You would go and you'd work on your free throws. I don't want it scripted, but I don't want it necessarily, like, so unscripted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, like, just off. It's just bad. It's just bad. So that's all I gotta say about the cutscenes. There was one other thing that I was gonna say about my career, but I'm kind of having trouble forgetting what it was now. If it comes back to my head, I'll let you guys know. But 2 more things that I do have in my head. 1, crew. Name the shit crew. It's crew. Just name it crew again. Okay? Quit with the whole Pro-Am, Blacktop crew. Stop that. Just call it crew again, dude. It's crew. Call it crew. Get over it. It's crew. Okay? It's crew. Go back to calling it crew, okay? That's all that we ask. There's no reason to be calling it all these different weird names, when for years we've just been asking, bring back crew, and then you're like, okay, well, this is crew, but we're just going to call it Pro-Am, because we can't give you guys exactly what you want, because we're 2K, and we're basically like Activision, and we're going to find a way to fuck this up for you. You're going to ask for something, and we're going to say, okay, here it is, but we're going to give it a different name, because we don't want to exactly comply to you. Okay, so just call it crew again. It's just stupid. I know it's kind of a useless thing to ask, but just call it crew again. Just stop being foolish. Just call it crew. Holy shit, this game is almost over. Last thing, okay, so the last thing on my list, I can't remember what I was going to say about my career, but The controls, bro. Okay. Either go back to the way that it was in 2K11, okay, with the ISO motion. Okay, if you remember the ISO motion, you had to hold down. I play on a PS4. You know, I've always played on PlayStation, so you had to hold down L2 and then use the right stick, and that activated ISO motion. That was your dribble system. Then in 2K13, they came out with the better version of it. They came out with the control stick. Everything was done with the right stick. You didn't have to use any modifier. But one downside, and there really was no downside, actually. To shoot, you would just hold down the L2 button, and you go straight into a shot. And it was so easy to link things together. But shortly after, as in the next year when they made 2K14, they decided they wanted to change that shit to a flashy pass modifier. Ain't nobody trying to do flashy passes, bitch. Ain't nobody trying to do that. Stop that. Go back to the old way. Go back to one of the two old ways. Stop it with the flashy passes. We don't care about your flashy passes. We don't care. Trust me, as 2K players, we do not care about flashy passes. Okay, we could care less. Alright, give us the damn modifier back. This shooting been shit for a while. Also, normally I'd be mad about the shot meter, speaking of that, but I've actually gotten kind of used to it. Anyway, until next time, guys. I might have a part 3. We'll see. Until next time, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @MichaelBryson_. And until next time, peace!